I've got something for you all that I'm sure most of you have been waiting for. A while since my last video was about zombies. So today, let's talk about zombies. In order to keep this video under 100 scenes and around 5 to 9 minutes long, I'm going to try to only include one example from each film and not mention every zombie movie I've ever seen. So without further ado, let's get started. First up is Night of the Living Dead, which is where it all began with George A. Romero's classic black and white zombie flick. This film introduced us to the modern concept of the zombie as we know them now, flesh-eating, shuffling corpses that crave brains. The term zombie was actually coined by Haitian author William Seaforth in his 1932 novel The Magic Island, where they were known as zombies. The word itself means living death or ghost in Haitian Creole. Next up, we have the original 1978 version of Dawn of the Dead, which took the zombie craze to a whole new level. The film subverts expectations of your typical zombie flick by setting most of it in a shopping mall. It's interesting to see how the marketing has changed over the years, as this poster does not do the film justice at all. Moving on to Day of the Dead, also by George A. Romero, which is considered by many to be the best of his original trilogy. This film takes place entirely indoors in an underground bunker, showing the collapse of humanity and the conflicting views between scientists and military personnel. This film also introduced us to one of the greatest one-liners of all time: "They're coming to steal our brains." From there, we have Return of the Living Dead, which changed things up a bit by giving the zombies in the film a sense of humor and making them more fast-paced and athletic, almost like speed zombies. There's some great practical effects in this film, including one of the greatest zombie practical effects of all time, the explosion of a zombie's head when shot in the brain. Also, this film is what inspired Mad Max-style, Fury Road-style chase scenes in movies like World War Z. Now we have Shaun of the Dead, which helped reignite the popularity of the zombie genre in recent years. This British comedy horror flick is filled with tons of hilarious moments and characters. And as far as the zombies are concerned, they are definitely on the slower side, but still pose a serious threat to our heroes. Next up, we have Zombieland, which follows Columbus, Tallahassee, Wichita, and Little Rock as they journey across a zombie-infested America. Each character brings something unique to the table, and there's plenty of action, laughs, and heart to go around. For me, the standout character is Woody Harrelson as Tallahassee. We follow a group of survivors who are haunted by the events of the first, because they are mindless monsters that attack anyone on sight and resemble rotting corpses. Not to mention the way they move kind of reminds me of the infected from 28 Days Later. And they're also kind of slow and shambling, too, just like traditional zombies. So yeah, I think it fits. From there, we have the Korean film Train to Busan, which is one of the best zombie movies to come out in recent years. The film follows a man and his young daughter as they attempt to get to Seoul Station to meet his wife, who is getting a divorce from him. Along the way, they encounter other passengers who help them fight off hordes of zombies that overtake the train. The film is packed with thrills and suspense, plus some really intense action sequences. Moving on, we have the brilliant mockumentary What We Do in the Shadows, which follows a group of vampires living in New Zealand and their interactions with the humans around them. Although not technically a zombie film, the inclusion of Stu, the zombie handyman, is perfect. Played by the legendary Peter Jackson, he's an absolute hoot and a half, and his scenes are hilarious. Then we have the hilariously gory Warm Bodies, which is based on the novel of the same name. The film follows a zombie named R who falls in love with a human girl named Julie and tries to win her over by stealing her away from his fellow zombies. This is a sweet and funny film that offers a different take on the zombie genre and features some amazing visual effects. Next up is the 2019 Pet Sematary movie, which is based on the novella by Stephen King. If you thought the original 1989 version was scary, then this latest adaptation will absolutely terrify you. It has a fantastic cast and screenplay with incredible practical and visual effects. Just when you think it can't get any worse, it somehow manages to be even more horrifying. Continuing with Stephen King adaptations, we have the 2004 version of The Mist, which is based on the novella of the same name. This film has one of the most star-studded casts I've ever seen in a film, including an amazing performance by Thomas Jane as David Drayton. The film follows a group of people who seek shelter in a supermarket after mysterious mists roll into their town, unleashing terrifying creatures. From start to finish, it's incredibly suspenseful and frightening. Next up, we have the 2016 Don't Breathe, which follows 3 young trespassers who break into the home of a blind, deaf, and mute man. They soon discover that he is not as helpless as they thought, and he uses his heightened senses of hearing and smell to hunt them down. This film is incredibly intense and keeps you on the edge of your seat from beginning to end. Finally, we have the World War Z movie, starring Brad Pitt. Now, I know there's a lot of hate for this movie, but personally, I love it. It's fun, action-packed, well-acted, well-written, and it's got one of the greatest zombie movie one-liners of all time, "Move your effing car." It follows Gary Lane, a United Nations worker who races against time to find a cure for a zombie outbreak that's causing mass destruction and panic worldwide. There's so many more zombie films I wanted to talk about, but in order to keep this video under 100 scenes, I had to cut it down to only one example from each film. Also, if you've noticed, I've included more than 5 to 9 minutes, but it's so close I'm gonna let it slide. Let me know your favorite zombie films in the comments below and have a great day.